You just said you like being honest. Mm-hmm. That's pretty important in your role. Because you manage the help desk team.
Correct.
But also, the more important part of your role is as customer service manager, you're the first escalation point for a customer who's unhappy.
Yep. So, if there's an issue that the support team can't resolve, generally, if they're getting upset or unhappy, one of the guys would recommend they speak to me, or if they're aware of the escalation process, they might ask to speak to me.
So how do you feel when you get that escalation call, when somebody says, I'm coming to you because this is failed?
Look, it's always tough because it's not going to be, it's never a positive conversation. They're unhappy about something, so it's always going to be a little bit difficult. You've got to come to some sort of agreement about or compromise, so both parties are happy. Not everything's always possible to fix. Some things are set in stone, but wherever possible, obviously trying to fix the issue or at least come to some sort of compromise.
As a rabid Collingwood supporter, do you find it hard to find compromise?
Not really. There's a lot of other rabid Collingwood supporters out there. It's always nice to have a chat to one of those. But if you get one of the other types, the Carlton, the Essendons of the world, you just avoid the topic of football and everyone's happy.
So you'll actually help a Carlton supporter?
If forced to, yes. It is in my contract that I do have to help support the team that it's like.
Okay. So when you get an escalation call and somebody might be coming at you 1,000 miles an hour, pretty aggressive, and let's say over time you resolve whatever the issue is, how do you feel about that?
Look, if it comes to a positive resolution, it's a great feeling. You really feel like you've achieved something because you've worked with the client, and they've gone through the process with you as well. And if you can come to a resolution they're happy with, that's not going to cause too many issues with any of the data or the software or anything like that, there's nothing better than coming to a positive solution. The client's always grateful, and you've done your job, and you've got a client who's going to remember that, and they're going to hopefully remember that the next time you speak to them, if there's an issue or anything like that.
When you look at complex issues, and sometimes it relates to the software either not doing what they want, the way they want, or whatever, how do you feel about the flexibility within the software to be kind of bent to suit certain needs?
That's the best thing about the software is the fact that it can be bent. I mean, it's designed by the developers in a certain way, but there's always flexibility to do other ways around it. And one of the best things about our support team is that there's 10 guys in there that you can bounce ideas off, and everyone's always got a different idea or a different way of doing it. So between the support team, we can 9 times out of 10 we can work out a way around it. And whether one of the guys has an idea, or I can also speak to Jonathan, who's got a lot of experience with the software, Jeffrey, who runs development, or Gavin, who's been here forever and has almost done every role in the company. Between the support team and everyone else in the company, 9 times out of 10 we can apply a solution.
In the way you manage the team, you get the team together once a month, just to sort of review call stats and things like that. But I also notice you're doing weekly kind of stand-up meetings just to sort of check in with the team. What are they about?
We'll do kind of like an impromptu meeting sometimes if an issue comes up that everyone needs to be across, or certain times of the year certain things will happen, like we just went through stock take, so maybe there's an issue around that or something the guys need a bit of a refresher on. We'll have a bit of a chat about that just so the guys are up to speed, and it's a good way just to check in with the guys as well. We have a bit of a chat, raise any issues the other guys may have seen that I haven't seen or someone else hasn't seen, so it just gets us all on the same page, which is really important.
We sell software to a range of specialist marketplaces, newsagents, jewellers, gift shops, bike shops, and so on. How easy is it for you and for the guys who work with you to switch from being an expert in jeweller software to being an expert in gift shop software to being an expert in garden centre software?
Look, there's always a bit of an adjustment. From one client to the next, you can be in totally different worlds. One site may have an issue with, say, if it's in the jewellery channel, a repair or something like that, and then you go across to another channel, say a garden centre, and they're doing catalogues, and you're dealing with totally different products, totally different processes. But we try and train our guys so they know the differences, they understand the marketplaces and how they function. One of the hardest things is, for us, is we look at the software. But behind that, there's this whole thing of the day-to-day use of the software, the way the client's using it, and that's what we try and kind of understand. So we become more than just IT people or people who know how to use the software. We want to understand their business, not just their software. So it's a big adjustment between marketplaces, but we feel like we do it pretty well.
Some days you'll go from an average call traffic situation to a spike of 30 or 50% above average. That must be a pretty stressful situation to have this massive increase in customers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to say we're always cool, calm and collected in the support team, but there's days where, everyone will be running around, it'll just be mayhem, and everyone's trying to just get that our log of calls just under control. It's a massive adjustment, because sometimes it'll happen and you can nail it down and say, oh, it's stock take, or it's a certain time of the month where accounts go out, something like that. But other days, just the stars will align and it'll just be mayhem. So it's difficult to work within those parameters where you don't know what's going to happen day to day, but it's just part of the challenge, and we try and do our best to get through calls when we need to.
I don't know if you've ever heard the story, but there was a story that OneTel, the failed phone company, the way they got their call traffic down was they would literally turn the phone system off and just all the calls would drop out. Now, you said before about the real goal is to get the call log down. That's an authentic goal in terms of getting calls resolved.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we have sort of different parameters which we try and live up to as far as when we get back to somebody. It's not always possible depending on traffic, but at the end of the day, we'll look at our calls and we'll say, we always want to have that log cleared off. We want to make sure we've called everyone back, or at least attempted to contact people. That's a real goal of ours, and the guys will come to me at the end of the day and sort of say, when we're in the last hour, they say we've still got 5 calls in the log, and we'll work to get those closed. And it's a real point of pride within the team, and that's just the strength of the team, that they take pride in what they do.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Yeah, I love my job. I've been doing it for a few years now. I started in the support team. It's a real honour to be part of that team, and then go on to be able to kind of run that team. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of great guys in the team who really know what they're doing and are really professional. So it's a real joy.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.